4,935 miles. That was the distance that separated my girlfriend and I when we first began our relationship, our long distance relationship, which is no longer long distance. Now, you may be wondering, how were you able to navigate having a relationship with somebody that was not only almost 5,000 miles away from you, but that you had never previously met in person? Well, in this video, I'm going to divulge exactly how we made that work, all the way up until us no longer being long distance. Now, first of all, before I explain how to make long distance work, we need to figure out if long distance works. Does long distance work? A lot of people don't think that it works. And for some people, it doesn't work because they don't have the mental fortitude to allow their girlfriend the freedom to live their life across the world, because they're thinking in terms of possessiveness. Again, going back to the last lecture, they don't trust their ability to vet potential prospects. And that is more of a them problem rather than a problem pertaining to their girlfriend. A lot of people don't have the mental fortitude to deal with that, but that's not to say that they can't develop it. That's not to say that you can't develop it if you don't have it already. Long distance can work, but the caveat, in my opinion, in my experience, and in my observation, is that long distance only works temporarily. I don't think that long distance is something that is meant to be a permanent thing. And really, in this modern day and age, there's no real reason why it has to be a permanent thing. There's no point in making it a permanent thing when you can literally get on an airplane and fly over to this person, or you can fly them out to you, or you can meet somewhere in the middle. And if they live somewhere very far away that you've never been to, now not only do you get to be with this person in person physically, but also you get to experience a whole new place that you never would have otherwise experienced. I'm filming this video from the Netherlands, and before I met my girlfriend, I didn't even know the Netherlands existed. And even after we had been friends for years, I couldn't point out the Netherlands on a map, and now I'm here only because we got into a long distance relationship. Now, long distance in short spurts as a temporary arrangement can actually be a good thing. Why is long distance good when you do it temporarily? The reason why it's good is because it gives you a chance to test your relationship. You forge your relationship through the fire of desire, because you want to be with your girlfriend. When you're long distance, there is nothing that you want more than to be with your girlfriend in person. And if that desire is not present, maybe you're with the wrong person. And actually, that right there is a very good way of testing the integrity of your relationship. If you're not sure if you really, really love your girlfriend, then try going long distance with her. Try being long distance for a month or 2 months and see how it affects you. Do you feel relieved, or do you feel deprived in a sense? And when I say deprived, that doesn't mean that you're not complete without her. It just means that you want her. You don't need her, but you want her. You want her even more because you don't have her physically, because you're being deprived of that dimension of the relationship. If that desire grows, then you're probably with the right person. If the desire fades away, you're probably with the wrong person. I'm speaking from experience with that. But long distance is great because you get a chance to test and strengthen that bond with that person. Because if you can sustain or strengthen a bond with somebody who lives across the world from you, who is 7 hours apart or 9 hours apart in terms of time zone from you, then being in person together is going to be easy. It's easy to sustain a relationship and keep the spark going when you have that juxtaposition of experiences, when you can always refer back in your mind to that time in your life where the only thing you wanted was to be with her in person. Again, speaking from experience with that, long distance is absolutely great for this reason. Also, it forces you to build trust. It forces you to establish that trust and understand that you cannot control this person. You can't be possessive over the phone. You can't be possessive over text messages or WhatsApp. You can't, because all they would need to do is block you. So you literally have to trust them. You have no other choice. And again, if you can trust somebody who lives across the world from you, then you can trust them when they are with you in person. It gives them a chance and you a chance to prove to each other that you are actually committed to the relationship. That said, for all of the good that long distance can provide for a budding relationship, or for all of the spark that it can provide to a relationship that you've already been in for a long time, long distance is still really fucking difficult. It's really, really hard. It's hard. That's why so many people tap out. A lot of people can't handle it because they don't know how to navigate it. But I don't want you to be one of those people. I want you to be one of those people that thrives in a long distance relationship if need be. That said, the first thing that you need to do in order to navigate a long distance relationship is you need to make communication a priority. And when I say you, this means both of you, you and your partner. You have to meet in the middle on all of these things. If they're unwilling to do this, then they're incapable of being in a long distance relationship. Therefore, the relationship is probably not going to work. But I digress. You can only control what you do. You can control if you put in the effort. Make communication a priority. Daily communication is critical. Even if it's just a good morning text, an update, and a good night text on the busy days. If that's all you have time for, then that's all you need to do. But ideally, if you can fit in some FaceTime calls in there, maybe every other day, every few days, or for some couples, every day. If you can fit that in, even just a 10 or 20 minute FaceTime call, that can go a very long way in maintaining that connection. Because what you don't want to happen is you don't want the connection to slowly but surely die out. Like a flame that slowly gets smaller and smaller until it becomes a spark, and then it ceases to exist, and you're left with nothing but darkness. You don't want that to be a metaphor for your relationship. So make sure that you make communication a priority. Again, show this person that you care, that you're interested and curious about their life, about how they feel about their life, about their future plans, even the plans, especially the plans that have nothing to do with you. Show them that you are interested in them. Communicate. Have these compelling conversations. This has never been easier than it is today because you have technology. You have a technological device. That's what you're watching this on. Therefore, you have access to text messages, phone calls, WhatsApp, whatever else you need in order to sustain this communication. The next thing that you need to do to make long distance work, and this right here I think is the actual secret cheat code of long distance relationships, is you should always have a visit scheduled. Always have a visit scheduled where either you're going to see them, they're going to see you, or you're going to meet in a neutral location. Always have a visit scheduled, because what this does is this creates hope. Not even hope, it creates faith. It creates anticipation and tension because you're always counting down the days until you see each other again. What really makes long distance hard for a lot of people is not knowing when or if they are going to see the person again. It can very quickly become the case that when turns into if. I don't know when I'm going to see her again becomes I don't know if I'm going to see her again. And once you start to cross that line, it can be very difficult to go back. But again, if you make communication a priority and you always have that visit scheduled, even if the visit is 6 months or a year down the line, that period in between is going to be difficult, but the difficulty will have meaning because you know that the difficulty is simply a segue that leads you into this checkpoint that you'll be able to reach by being patient, making communication a priority, and counting down those days. One day at a time. 5 more Mondays until I see her again. And what this is going to do is this is going to motivate you to stay on your grind, to keep bettering yourself, because every time you see her, you'll have leveled up so much that she'll basically have to get to know you all over again. And I know this from firsthand experience. I knew that, okay, I'm not going to see her for another 6 months. The time's going to pass either way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the best shape of my life and I'm going to save up $15,000. Boom. I'm going to show up a whole different version of me than the version of me that she left at the airport the last time we saw each other. You can use that as motivation to stand your grind, and from a monetary standpoint, you can use it as motivation to get your shit together so that you don't ever have to be long distance again. So that was just one out of 191 exclusive videos in my coaching program. If you want to unlock the rest of those videos and attend weekly coaching sessions with yours truly, then be sure to click the link in the description so that you can get your dream body, get your dream girlfriend, and make freedom your lifestyle.